Hi, Madam Eileen of Madam Eileen Balloon Creations, here to teach you about loop twists. Loop twists are the basic step of all balloons. I'm going to show you how you can use loop twists in your art, and then I'm going to get into more of the technicality of what a loop is. Do you remember when we made this flower? We have a long stem here. We're going to make 2 loop twists for his leaves. One easy way to do it is you make a letter S. You make a letter S, then you find where the center is of your letter S. You pinch, you 2 hands wrap around, you pinch them together, and you twist it around. You end up with 2 loops. The loops have 2 sides, so you can adjust it so the loops are equal, so that the center part sits right in between the 2 loops. And I can rotate this end, so the flower is facing more towards you. Turn the head, turn the antennae. That is where we use loops. You don't have to do both. You could do them at different times. A loop is basically just a fold in the balloon. You pinch the 2 loops together and you twist it 1, 2, 3, and then we come over here and we make a loop. Pinch it together, go 1, 2, 3. Then you stand it up, balance the top and the bottom in the hole that the 2 loops create. That's 2 different ways to put flower petals on your flower by doing 2 basic loops. And they're pressure fitted. It's just the pressure of the top and the bottom balloon balancing on top of the leaves that keep it up, standing nice up and down straight. We're going to get into pinch twist later. To give it a little bit of extra strength, you can put a pinch twist in this joint on the front and back to give it extra strength for standing up. Now let's get into loops. A lot of people start off with loops. There is a simple balloon dog done with 3 loops. It's very fast. I find them a little boring, but that's okay. Sometimes I even make the 3 twist balloon dog because I'm out of time to do anything else. That's where we're going to stop right now. Let it pinch the air out, tie the knot. All right, we are going to do a flower just with loops. Now, when you make a flower, a lot of beginners make the mistake of doing a big loop, and then you run out of room, and then you need to connect another balloon and then keep twisting, and then connect another balloon and twist more. Flowers actually should only be about 6 inches long. If they're 6 inches, then that means that's half a foot. That's huge. So if you divide that flower in half, 3 inches on one side, 3 inches on the other, that means when you make a loop, the loop should be not tiny, but it should be small. I like to go around my thumb to help curve. And I use my thumb to hold the body of the balloon in place as my right hand curves the balloon down and around my thumb. I will grab and I will then pinch the knot, not the nozzle, the knot. Pinch it together and give a twist, 1, 2, 3, and that is a loop. The loop is going to come undone. I will show you. It's going to come undone just like that easy. Unless you lock it in place. You got to connect it together with a lock twist. So after I twist it, I grab that nozzle and knot, and I go through the loop back to the opposite side, and now that loop is not going anywhere. That loop is now locked into place. Now we're going to do some more loops. Most flowers do not have 4 petals. It's usually 5 or more. But 6 is a challenge. 7, that's another level. 8, that's even better. Or maybe you have the talent. But the trick to putting more loops on a flower is you need to make sure your bubbles are soft. So this is talking about loop twists, but also how to make soft bubbles. One way to make them soft is make sure you have plenty of tail. Give your balloon a squeeze and a stretch. That helps soften the balloon. But also, when I go around my thumb, I want to point out that this loop is almost too big. Because 1, 2, 3, if your fingers are about an inch wide, a 4th finger would say that this petal is almost 4 inches. 4 inches and 4 inches is 8 inches. 8 inches, that's a big flower. Pull it down just a little bit. So you want 3 fingers. You want to try to go with 3 fingers. If you're a kid and your fingers are tiny, then think of it as double. 2 fingers for an inch. That means your flower petals should be 6 fingers. So it should be 4 and then 2. But you see, you really don't want the petals to be very big. And also you don't want the balloon to be very firm. You want it to be soft. One way to soften it also is when I go around, before I do the pinch and turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch, but also these fingers here are going to squeeze down and chase some of the air out of that balloon. So when I do my twist, these fingers have pushed air out, and this finger has trapped and kept the air out. That makes for a soft bubble. This one's a bit more firm. This one's more soft. Firm, soft. So a little, think of it like a finger hug. Squeeze a little bit of air out. Turn that like a key. Pull that loop to the center. Push it down. So whenever I start a new petal, I always bend it and I aim to push down to the very center joint of the balloon. That's what I'm aiming for. These petals are kind of hiding it, but I'm aiming for that joint right there when I do my petals. And when I do my grabbing, my fingers are doing kind of a measuring. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I can actually put another one. You make the petals a little soft. Did you see that? Did you see the air inflate this tail a little bit as I was squeezing some air out of that loop before I closed that loop off? Now I have a whole bunch of loops. This could be a snowball if I did it in white. Now I'm going to count to see how many loops. I think I might have hit 6 or even 7. This is how we straighten up this mess. Once we have this straightened up, then it's a good time to cut this off. But I'm going to leave this part on until I'm done. I am finding 2 loops that are next to each other, pulling them apart, lining them up, and putting the both parallel sides of the loops together, kind of matching it up. And pulling it apart, twisting, matching them side by side. So this will be unmatched, this is matched. Closing it, going to the next one, pulling apart, checking the match, closing it. Ah, look, that one's down there. I'm going to pull these 2 apart, match that up. So that bottom loop, go to 2 loops, pull them apart, and try to pull that up into place. Pull it apart on the left side, pull it apart on the right side, and then I go around, just doing this, and this lines it up. Check that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I got 7. Did you get 7? If you got 7, you're already an amazing twister. That's like next level up kind of stuff. But I never knew that there was such a thing as a beginning level of balloons. I just dove right into doing mermaids and superheroes. Now, for this end, since this is basically just doing loop twist, this is a loop twist flower. I just pinched all the air out, snipping the tip, letting it all escape. I can save this as an attachment point. You can get a hairband. You can take your flower. I like to have extra room, so I take 2 fingers and I go around the 2 fingers and the hairband around the fingers, around the hairband, back up into the center of the flower and down again. And then I remove my fingers and then I adjust my bubbles. And this is the beginning of a flower base for a hat. I can attach the balloon dog on a flower on another flower to build a really fun, tall, crazy hat. Or I could just take a scrap. Actually, I think I'm getting into another lesson. This lesson is about loops, so we'll set aside the hairbands for now. So that's a loopy flower. Loops on your flower. And now we're going to do a 3-loop balloon dog. So inflate your balloon. Now remember, there's only 3 twists on this balloon dog, so if you want him to have a solid tail, you only need a 3-finger tail on this guy. But if you want some tail to poodle puff, then you want to leave a longer tail. Now, remember, proportions are key to making your balloon animal look good. I like to use my hands. I take the base of the balloon and I match it to the base of my hand, and right where my fingers are, I fold it down. Now, if the balloon is folded higher than your fingers, it's too big. If it's folded lower than your fingers, it's too small. Right there. Now, find the middle. Pinch the middle and give a twist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to do the next part. You line your base of your hand up with this joint we just made with that loop. We fold it down. We find the center. We squeeze and we turn. So this is the head. These are the feet. Now you use your hand. Go to that joint. Hold it. So it's about the same level as your fingertips. Find the center. Pinch and twist. This makes a balloon dog of perfect proportions, except he has a monkey tail. It's so long. I don't want that monkey tail. So this is where we are going to do a snip the tip trick. Let some of that air out. This is one of the examples of there's going to be times when you need to let air out of the balloon. And this is the time, one of the times. I could use a tiny pinhole, but I want the air to come out fast, So I'm using scissors. Scissors snip a hole, and I'm going to pinch this joint, and then I'm going to let go and have that just uninflate. Now this bubble here for his tail, it's just short of 4 fingers. It's about 3.5, because half of it is going to stay here on his back legs, and the other half is going to travel to the tip. I'm going to tie a knot and reseal this end of the balloon. I am going to, see how I'm bending this just a little bit? I'm bending that a little bit so I can isolate the bubbles without the air wanting to escape back up the tail. And now we're going to squeeze all together. 1, 2, 3. Didn't quite make it all the way. That means we need to chase it. Pinch the base of it where it's at, and pinch, pinch, pinch. Once you get to where it wants, you pinch it until you're scared that it's going to pop. That stretches it, and then you can let go. And you've now poodle puffed your 3-twist balloon dog. This is the simplest balloon dog to teach kids because it's only 3 twists that they have to remember. The poodle puff part, that's just fun. Eventually you'll just know how much air not to put in, and you'll have this naturally. You won't have to cut off and ruin a beautiful end with a knot. So that is loops and Loops 101 for balloon twisters. Have fun. Next time we're going to get into the pinch twists, I think. That's going to be really fun. Bye. Have a good night.